Hi everyone. Hello. Jumbo. I hope you guys are fine this moment. And as always, I take this opportunity to welcome you to, our presentation today. Just trying to get something just set up rightly. Good. So should be good now. So welcome to this information session. As always, this is a moment when we, go through various elements of the program, and particularly for today, we will go through. We will go through. For today, we will go through the part of having fun when you are abroad. It's my hope that at the end of the webinar, you will be more, enriched and more knowledgeable with regards to the various things that you perhaps need to do as preparation for your program. So just a minute, I'm doing a bit of setup here. All right, I hope everyone can see that. Yeah, that should be fine now. Yeah, that should be fine. So now, in the last series of webinars, we've been looking at the various items of preparation, the various items that of how you get ready to travel abroad, and more so how you get ready to come on program. And when you actually set to come on program, how then do you ensure that you maximize the experience? But beyond even maximizing the experience, then we have also, tried to give you some tips more to the clinical work on how you can actually get to learn more, and how you can actually get back to get more interaction with the environment that you will be at. So. Today I'll take you through having fun while you're abroad, and this is a very broad topic that we can chat about, for quite a long time. The structure of the webinar, as always, there is a right-hand side of the webinar. You can raise your question there, and we'll be happy to respond. And I'll have the questions being monitored, and when as we progress, I'll be happy to answer them to you. So now I look at the outline of this webinar is that we're looking at the benefits of traveling abroad, and then we look at what is a typical day. And this typical day tries actually to establish at what point does this fun activities chip in. Now that I've traveled abroad for the clinical work, now that I've traveled abroad for the shadowing work, for example, I've come and, all the hospital forms a chunk of my experience. So how then do I ensure that what is the part of my day that I'll fix these fun activities? That's an important and fundamental question that I'll be looking to answer in the course of this webinar. Also, I'll be looking at some of the activities that you can be involved in. And these activities are varied, ranging from volunteering, excursions, the famous safari, and of course, the treks up the Kilimanjaro. Now, just as a curtain raiser for us here is that the world is said to be a book, and those who travel, they say, just read one page. And of course, by you intending to travel abroad, and by you intending to take the decision of going abroad for your experience, that is of course the first step in writing many pages of your book. So that said, we look at how traveling to a new country actually presents various opportunities. It presents, as I have said in most of my presentations before, it presents an opportunity for one to see a different country. But beyond the country, you also see different culture. But beyond the culture, also be able to explore and be able to learn a bit more about everything that that destination has to offer. And every day when you're on that location is actually an opportunity for you to learn something new. And therefore, you should not miss an opportunity. Much as there is a lot of clinical work at your back that you're expected to learn on, do not miss an opportunity on to learn more on what your location has to bear. And just to give you a highlight of what the location has to bear, experiencing of the local culture. Of course, I don't know how many of you can balance that pot shown in that pot on your head, but that is part of culture. There are people who carry it home long distances with many liters of water. Yeah, so you get to increase your knowledge and widen your perspective. Then you enjoy the nature. Of course, you take nature trails, visit the various nature parks, and by doing so, you actually get to have that fun aspect of visiting the places that you could have, however, have not visited. Are you thinking about dishes and wondering what is the common dish for the people in Africa, and particularly if you were to go to Tanzania, if you were to go to Kenya? What is the most common diet? You get involved in the making of traditional diet, and even learn more, on how you get to prepare some of them. So that is an important aspect of the programs, and particularly, with the travel abroad. Now, in previous discussions and in previous sessions of webinars, we have actually looked at the benefits of traveling abroad from a clinical aspect. And if you people recall, there is a time that I at length spoke about, how there is a different health system. But today I look at it from the angle of having fun. That is number one. Traveling abroad, how does it benefit you, in a broad scope? First, it increases your knowledge and widens your perspective. And here we are talking of perspective in terms of many things. Could be perspective in terms of, adventure, could be perspective in terms of culture as well, as you get to interact with that unique culture, as you have fun. And of course, you will discover the different values and ways to get by in life. What are some of the beliefs of people that are in the place that you're going to be living in? What are some of the things they do for fun, for example? And what are some of the societal practices that ensure that people, are remain healthy, for example? Do they go for football matches? What is this that they do to make use of their free time, for example? And this one makes you an interesting person, by learning more about more and more people. I always say that, it makes you a person who appreciates diversity. And any person who appreciates diversity is a person that is interesting to interact with. In my very honest, submission on that, it's great time to disconnect from what you're used to. The norm is a very risky thing. Both in medicine and in real life. You need to look at it in terms of challenging experiences that makes you, or rather make you a better person, well-packaged person. So when you travel abroad, then it helps you disconnect from your regular life. Say you're used to go to this movie theater. Now you have a moment to go to the forest and talk to the bushes and watch the bushes and listen to the birds sing in the forest, as you take the nature trails. So this gives you an enrichment that you would not have had, if you didn't get to travel abroad. Then, of course, the educational part is broad, and of course, you have interacted with the educational part. And then the other thing is, you will also be able to make friends, different friends, from different parts of the world as you have and interact with them. Remember, again, these friends are not just the people who are on placement. It includes the people that are there with you in the placement, and also the people that you find in that location and that you interact with as you have the local excursions. Now, moving on. Now, we say, and actually, again, a very philosophical statement that can be argued about for a very long time, travel makes you richer. It doesn't make you richer financially, of course, that may not be the case, but it makes you richer in terms of the experiences, in terms of the stories you have to tell, in terms of your appreciation, as I always say, the appreciation of diversity. So how do you have fun? Well, at what point do you fix fun when you're on a elective Africa program? What point and what time do you fix fun? This is like a typical day, an outline of a typical day with a lot of changes and with a lot of customization that goes on. But one of the things that I would like to highlight is that 2 p.m. when you have the free time, you're not taking lunch, you're not taking dinner, you're not in the hospital and doing rotations. So you have a free time. So this is the time that then you fix the fun activities that are supposed to be part of, or rather part of enriching your program beyond the clinical aspect. So we're saying that this free time can be used for various things. Some of them are cultural immersions, as I've said, orphanage visitors and volunteer. I'll be delving more into this and looking into detail how these activities are organized and what actually they are in my next slide. But just as an outline, this speaks volumes to the fact that you will have some free time. Whether you take an evening shift or you take a morning shift or you take a mid-afternoon shift, then it means that you will at least have some time to be able to interact with a different, kind of system. So, of course, yeah, travel makes you modest, and it shows you how tiny the world is. So, traveling to the world makes you realize that the world is actually a circle that you get to interact with. Almost 4,000 miles away, and you're actually able to see how small the world is in terms of experiences and in terms of what one can do when they are far away from home. Now, moving on to the fun activities. So there are various fun activities that you can actually be involved in. As I have said in my previous slide, the schedule for the typical day, the hospital rotations are like the minimum time is 25 hours in a week. So if it's 25 hours in a week, then it means you have some time in the course of the week. Of course, the remaining time can be used in a meaningful way. What is this meaningful way? As I move to the slide of volunteering, I remind you that there is a section, at the right-hand side of the presentation where you can actually be able to raise your questions. You can be able to ask the questions, and when you ask the questions, we'll be happy to respond to them at the end. Volunteering. People say when they travel abroad, I'm going for a medical volunteering. That is the common word that is used. I am going for a medical volunteering. But here is the reality. There is a clinical part of your voluntary work, and there is also the other part that is beyond the hospital for other activities that you can volunteer in. And these activities are meant to improve, rather, they're meant to increase your exposure to the system, and also they're meant to enrich how much you interact with the people culturally, so that you are more versed with the culture of the people. Some of the activities that you can undertake is visit of the children's home, and here you can go do paintings, organizing of oral health clinics, of course, organizing hygienic clinics like toothbrushing and hand washing. This comes along with supplies. You can carry with you some supplies and take them to the children's home or to the schools, and then teach the children about the need of it, hand washing alike, donating some items to the children's home. Of course, this could be, homes of needy children. So when you donate some items to them, then it goes a long way to helping them. And of course, you can organize a medical checkup session for a school, again for a children's home, and be able to do that outreach that goes far and beyond your hospital clinical work. And then the other thing is that you provide. You can also provide talks for public health, including things like reproductive health talk, or even donate some items like sanitary towels to the schools or to the children's home that you visit. Again, this narrows down to carrying supplies and going to interact with these people. Of course, taking care of the less disadvantaged. I always say as my signature statement, where there is medicine, there is love for humanity. Of course, then the other thing, you can go and do a bit of teaching. You can teach things like sports. Probably you are very good with with football, and you can teach the kids football. You can also go, do a bit of teaching of science, or even do a bit of teaching of English. This can go a long way into enriching the placement that you actually are going to have abroad. So now the other thing that you can be involved in is excursions. Now, these excursions is beyond the volunteer. It goes into, or it drives into the various activities that involve, visits to the various natural and cultural places that can actually go a long way into in a way contributing to your excursions exposure. What are these excursions activities that you can undertake? Of course, there are those activities that can be undertaken for half day. That means they're within either the proximity of your residence or within, the city that you'll be living in. So they are easy to organize for half day. And there are those that you can take like a weekend, because we have free weekends. If you don't go to the hospital on weekends, we have a free weekend. So you can also undertake these activities on the weekend when you have a free weekend. So these activities that you have in a free weekend are, for example, as a free weekend and also in the afternoon are for Mombasa, Kenya. For those going to Mombasa, Kenya, there is all those activities like the Hala Park, going to the crocodile farm and so on. There's a Mamba village, there is Fort Jesus, the historical site. And this underlines also, sometimes what cultural aspects of the excursions have. So there is for the full day activities, you can undertake, a visit to Shimoni Caves, which is, they have history in slave trade. Of course, in our systems in Kenya, for example, slave trade was very common, taken into the coastal region. So you get to learn where slaves were stored before they were waiting to be, sold out or something of the sort, or even being transported. So you visit such kind of cases, and they teach you about the culture of the people. Visit to Arabu Sokoke, go to the forest nature trails and be able to listen, as I say, to the trees speak. Do they really speak? I bet yes. So you listen to the trees speak, and you also listen to the whistles of the birds and the sea, some few animals within that, the beautiful wildlife that is actually inside the parks. And then the other thing is, you can go to Watamu Marine Park, go to, it's a bit far away again. This is a full day, so there is a nature, there's rather the marine park, there is various excursions that involve skiing, windsurfing, snorkeling, and so on. So this gives you an enrichment for your weekend as you freshen up for the upcoming week. Now, for Arusha, Tanzania, for those looking to go for Arusha, Tanzania, this is a must not miss. Chemka Hot Springs. The first time I got inside there, it was like, wow! Can you imagine water coming from underground, like from the glacier from Mount Kilimanjaro, and then traveling underground, and then sprouting at some point, and then you get a chance to swim in that water. This is amazing. This is very amazing. Then there is like Luluti, there is waterfalls there, and you can do actually some boat riding. You get to Marangu waterfalls. It's a lower going place, so you go like down to a point that you are like inside a valley, and there you'll find the waterfall. Very, very enriching if you get to visit it. Then there are various full-day excursions that involve visit to other cities that are neighboring, visit to Maasai villages, but of highlight is the visit to Miserani Snake Park. Here, if you fear snakes like myself, you will of course be very afraid, because now holding a snake to your neck and imagining what if it got back to its senses, in quotes, what will it be able to do? Of course, you will keep off. I normally keep off, but I know you guys like adventure, and you will of course get a chance to get a hold of the snakes when you visit this location. So carrying on, the other important element, or rather the other highlight of the program, or rather the highlight, or rather one of the must not misses, and especially if you travel in the summer, you travel at a time that the eighth wonder is happening. I always like to refer to it that way, the migration of the wildebeests. This gives you an awesome advantage to see this great adventure. And how do you get to be involved in it? You can get involved in it while you're in Tanzania, or even when you're in Kenya. In Kenya, you go to Masai Mara. You can actually choose to go for a 3 days, 2 nights Masai Mara safari, or even under 4 days and visit Lake Nakuru and be able to see these various places. Now, this is it's normally recommended that you take this midway your program, or depending on how the schedule is, you can take it anytime, either at the end of your program as well. Sorry. So it's normally recommended that you take it midway your program, just to debunk and create some more energy to continue in the remaining part, So you can take, as I said, 3 days, 2 nights Masai Mara, or with a 4 days, 3 nights with Lake Nakuru included. And this gives you an opportunity to actually see physically and within a photo shoot, or rather within a photo shoot distance, all the big five. Imagine seeing a lion doing the hunt. Imagine seeing a cheetah with its speed. Imagine interacting, or rather be able to take an up-close photo of the elephants. This is just what an amazing opportunity. In Tanzania, you can also do the same in Lake Manyara, Ngorongoro, and Tarangire National Parks. So this also give you an opportunity to meet all these animals. And for the wildebeest migrations, you can also, do it combined with the Serengeti National Park visit. Now, this all present an amazing opportunity to create not just clinical memories, but to create memories of what everyone wants to live in. I actually recall having a conversation with one of the students, and she told me she took a photo of a lion when it was doing the hunt and posted it to send it back home. And the grandmother was like, "Wait a minute, you lived my dream. You lived what I have always wanted to do." When people think of Africa, they think of a safari. So why should you travel to Africa and miss to take part in a safari? It's of course something that you should actually be interested in taking part in. And if you're actually prepared to take it, then definitely be certainly sure that it will be amazing. Now, moving on, there is, for those who like mountain climbing, you have done climbing at home, or you have done, a bit of trekking at home, and you want to do a full week. Full week means 6 days, 7 days going up the mountain, the tallest freestanding mountain in Africa, actually. You will go up the Kilimanjaro. This is a challenge of a lifetime. So if you're a mountain climber, then don't miss this challenge. This can be done when you have concluded your placement, so that, when you earn your hospital placements, you can do the climb up the Kilimanjaro. And when you do the climb up the Kilimanjaro, then you get to have the various experience there. And, you actually get to enrich. And as I said, the baseline is create memories that you will actually hold on to years and ages to come. Fantastic. That is the tricks. So all this packaged and delivered, and customized. Oh, wow. I need to repeat that. All this packaged, customized, and delivered to you by Elective Africa. Now, across all these programs, we seek to get them organized for you. Why do we do so? So that we can get them customized for you. You have that go-to person. You have, everything sorted out for you, so you don't have the hassle. The hassle is lifted away from you. We are always, there's a slogan we have, there's a slogan we have that goes like this, The slogan goes, come, learn, have fun, and enjoy. Come, learn, have fun, and enjoy. Having fun is part of travel abroad. As I always say, it would be very boring a life if you travel 4,000 miles plus away from your home country, away from your city, away from what you're used to, and then come and not have fun. You need to create memories that you will carry on, many, many times to in the future, and that which you will be showing the people as an evidence of having traveled abroad. That was the great engagement with you guys. Of course, for any of these and for any question and for any detail on any of the items that have been listed here, you can reach out to us on email, as I also say, on phone, on Facebook. You can chat us. You can also tweet us, or even comment to us on Instagram, and we will be happy to help. So that has been, a great time, and I hope you've got something on getting fun. Feel free to raise any question. There is the right-hand side of the section, and I think this has been one of the presentations where there are no questions. So if you have a question, you can just raise it, and then I'll be happy to respond. Long after I have finished. Long after I have finished the presentation, of course, I'm happy to reach out at any time and help. Oh, wow. Thank you very much, Jake. So the question is, when we receive some help to organize opportunities for volunteering? So opportunities for volunteering are actually, as I said, opportunities that can organize upfront. So when you're on ground, the first thing that happens on your arrival is, of course, after giving you a timetable, the outline of your program, we will actually be able to tell you this is a list of activities, including volunteer activities that you can take on. So what will happen is that in the course of your placement, you might say that I have had a morning session in the hospital. Now, like if you're doing a nursing placement, I have had a morning session in the hospital. So now the afternoon, I want to do a volunteer. So what will happen is that the operations coordinator will help you in organizing for that. All right. So you will have, as I say, an on-ground support of the coordinator, and this coordinator will be there to help you if you want to do the volunteering activity. And of course, you must not miss to volunteer, because volunteering takes it beyond the clinical aspect to, taking care of people and to interacting, with various people. Thank you very much for that question. Again, if you have any further question, you can always raise it there, and both on that chart, on that platform, and on the various communications channels that I have raised here, and we are very happy to help. Thank you, everyone who attended this presentation. I'll do the greatest thing that I can do now, which is at the end of this presentation, I'll share the presentation with you together with the adventure guide, so that you can have a look at the various things that you can undertake for the purposes of improving and increasing on your fund when you travel abroad with Elective Africa. Thank you very much, and goodbye. See you next time. Keep watch for the next very amazing webinar, probably on another element of your program. Thank you, and do have a lovely evening. And maybe I can teach you a bit of Swahili. So in Swahili, you say goodbye. So in Swahili, goodbye is kwaheri. So I will say kwaheri. Kwaheri, and then you say ya kuonana. Asante sana. Do have a lovely and amazing evening. Goodbye, and thank you.